Hello and welcome to my channel Tools for Ascension by Wolfgang, and I'm Wolfgang. And my gift to you today is this guided meditation where we will be clearing in trauma, that you have accumulated probably from past lifetimes through cataclysmic events. Events like the big floods, volcanoes erupting, plagues, and of course, wars ravishing and the land and droughts. And maybe even deeper than that, where we go into the deep past, like Atlantis sinking, or Mars, being denuded of its atmosphere, or Tiamat or Maldek, same thing, blowing up. Were you involved in this? And does it still affect your consciousness, like an underlying depression maybe that you're not even aware of? And and how does it affect you maybe? Of course, diagnosis, finding out what happened is just the beginning of healing. In the following guided meditation, we shall also clear as much trauma as possible. It's a shotgun meditation, but it will get a lot of stuff that you probably would have no idea was even affecting you. And of course, only accept what resonates with you, and please no driving or heavy machinery. And, if you're kind enough to give me a thumbs up, that would definitely help. And so, I prefer office chair, sitting down, feet on the ground, if you have a grounding mat. Oh yeah. Ground yourself, with that. I'm just taking my shoes off. Now feet on the grounding mat, and you have a better connection with the earth. It's easier to run chi with the heavens. On the other hand, if you lay down, many people just pass out, and they need it. Many people have a problem falling asleep, so this will help. And it's definitely way better than not doing a meditation at all when you pass out. Actually, I'm not sure whether it's even more potent if you pass out. And so that's a good thing for you, just to make that decision. And of course, we ask that everything that happens here in this guided meditation is going to be, for you and mine highest good, and is also in divine harmony and with the most benevolent outcome, for all. Just agree with this. You want to have this, and of course we want to have it, a really good impact, and the most positive impact, for the highest timelines for you, humanity, and Gaia. And now we ask the angelic forces to put a huge bubble of light, but that's camouflaged, towards the dark beacon so they cannot see it, around a property, around a house or car, or room, or wherever you are. And close your eyes and smile, and start inhaling the love of Mother Earth. Just imagine it, that you inhale it like chi, like as if you're breathing in, through your legs and through your root chakra. Deep breathing. And pull that energy all the way into your whole body, all the way up to your shoulders and head. And then send it down into the earth. And just keep, going back and forth. Just like an ocean at the wave. But this time the beach is vertical and not horizontal. So bring that earth love up, then let it come down again, back and forth. And we asked Gaia and of course our spirit guides and highest self to clear any blocks and resistances that still separate us, from Earth. That prevents perfect grounding. This could be trauma, this could be spells, curses, all kinds of reasons. Maybe dark technology, so the wrong mental attitude, but we like to have this cleansed now as much as possible. Just keep on nod your head and keep on breathing back and forth, up and down. And we asked those subterranean aspects to show our grounding cords, the perfect ley lines, crystal grid, and ore deposits now. Keep on breathing back and forth and smile. And we also ask the spirit guides, to clear, anything that is false, or any kind of downer programs, thought forms that bring you down in your vibration. We like to have this cleared now as much as possible. And generally the effect comes within 5 seconds. And we ask that we be connected with our own social memory complex, if we are incarnated with the subterranean, and if it's for highest good now. Smile. And, oh yeah, so I feel a shift for myself. Just smile and acknowledge. It's kind of an upflow of energy, very, very beautiful. And we asked the subterraneans to put a nice rainbow around our hearts. And smile. Oh yeah, that works. And also bring in the gold love frequencies for love and healing. Amen. And we also ask them to create a beautiful inner sanctuary bubble for us. Amen. And we ask that that one be surrounded, with rainbow fire, with water, the elements, the positive aspects of all the elements. And we invite inside the rose, or the devas of the rose, the lotus, tulsi, holy basil, and lily. I feel them. And as we were dealing with sadness, and loss, let's also call in on willow. And then also calling on the rainbows to brighten up everything a little bit. Turn up the chroma, pretty please. Now I'll put the tongue at the soft palate, at the palate at the top of the mouth. And imagine that you breathing in from the ceiling the love of Milky Way galaxy, which is this huge conscious being, a huge, huge, huge being that loves you unconditionally. It's super smart. You can consider this like a mother being, but it could also be considered a father being. I mean, no genitalia, I would say. And just pull in that love into your whole body with your inhale, and then on the exhale you send your love all the way up to the ceiling. Imagine Milky Way galaxy being there, go back and forth. And we ask her, those spirit guides, the angels of love and light, to clear any blocks, resistances, spells, curses, brain damage, whatever separates us, from the higher dimensions, from our high self, from connecting with our ET brotherhood. Clear, clear, clear any sabotage, dark tech, spells, curses, and even vows. And you keep on breathing, inhaling the love, sending your love up, and by now you should feel a little lighter, uplifting around your crown getting more fluffy, right? Cool. Be grateful. And now let's connect to the star nations, where you're from, as long as they're of love and light and approved by your high self, of course. Let's smile. And here they're coming in, and inhale their love. And we ask them also, to please clear any templates that disconnects us from our high self and prevent them from being re-implanted. Please make this a permanent change, basically make it bulletproof. And any entities, or programs, that try to reinstate these negative templates, take them to the highest courts of divine justice, so they're not affecting the whole in a bad way anymore. Also, then clear any jinn programs, meant to block healers, prophets, and channelers. They're also called arcanic attachments, and generally they're attached to the side of your head, at the temples, to the gallbladder meridian. And make this also a permanent change, so it cannot be put, no more jinn thought forms can be put onto you. And just keep on running love with Milky Way galaxy, and here's the clearing coming in. Keep on breathing and smiling. And now we ask Milky Way galaxy and the spirit guides to activate, the Stargate codes that are for our highest good, and to update us on all levels of our being, body, mind, and spirit complex, Ra would say. And again we ask that we be encased in a bubble of protection and that nothing harmful can get through to us. And nothing but good can come to us. And it is done. And we ask so in the name of Source. And also, we do not allow any negative energies or negative entities to occupy our space until further notice. Now, Amen. I mean it. I mean it. Mean it for yourself. I'm not your daddy or ooh. And we also command that all negative thought forms leave us now. And that they also be destroyed, or transmuted into positive thought forms. And so it is, and so it is. Amen. And we also ask that, any cords, or energy connections that have been made, to drain our energy, that they be cleared and we call back our energy. I'd like to have those energies recalibrated to the highest light. And we do not accept energy from anyone. That's not for our highest good either. It means no karma dumping, please. Amen, amen, amen. You know, and where it has attached to us, we like to have this clear now too. And now imagine that you know, situated in this column of light. You know, some initially might, you know, visualize it as a laser, the side of the head, you know, connecting them to center Milky Way galaxy and center Earth. If you can and are able to, you know, go ahead and visualize this a lot bigger. You know, like encompassing your whole body, like a real column of light. If you ask the high spell and spirit guides to help us now, and just tongue to the palate and breathe and smile up and down between Mother Earth and Milky Way galaxy. You just sitting in the middle of it. Just go ahead. And then again, we ask that this column of light transmutes and excludes all service to self energies and brings in the love and light. And also clears any darker thinkers. Amen. Keep wanting that love back and forth. Alright. So let's take inventory. First of all, we asked our high self, or the highest self aspect that can manifest through us now. It can come into our body and give us information to step into our body now. And smile, and you probably feel a shift. So, now with this state of mind, you know, but keep smiling and keep, you know, pumping love in your heart. You can be quite accurate. But, you know, most important is we just get an idea here. We're not mortgaging the house here or buying a new car. So, let's see, is the majority of the trauma that's stored in your DNA from this lifetime, yes or no? When your energy goes down, it's a no. When your energy goes up, that's a yes. Let's ask the opposite question. Is the majority of the trauma that's stored in your DNA from past lifetimes, yes or no? Okay. Well, now, is the majority of the trauma that's stored in your physical body from this lifetime, yes or no? And of course, you know, if it's not, it's from past lifetimes. And of all the trauma that is still stored in your emotional body, is the majority from this lifetime, yes or no? And of all the trauma that is still stored in your mental body, basically your thought forms or dysfunctional thought forms, so the majority of the trauma stored on the mental plane, is this from this lifetime, yes or no? And the majority of the trauma that is still stored in your spiritual body, is this from this lifetime, yes or no? Let's just ask the other, you know, is the majority of the trauma in our spiritual body from past lifetimes, yes or no? Makes it a lot more clear, right? And, you know, of course, also the place where you live, you know, can affect you when you live next to a slaughterhouse or a prison or a hospital, where there's a lot of suffering, you might feel depressed too, often from that trauma. So, do you carry, a large amount of trauma from the land in you, where you are right now? Yes or no? Probably city is a lot worse, than on the countryside. Okay. Now, do you carry a lot of trauma, where you were in animal life forms? Yes or no? And, a lot of my clients, have been incarnated in animal life forms, even dinosaur and extinct forms, Cro-Magnon man is pretty cool. And is a lot of your trauma from other life forms, not animal, not human, but from this earth? Yes or no? And so you're probably also carrying trauma from lifetimes when you were not on Earth. Let's call this ET trauma. So whatever trauma is with you, is most of it terrestrial trauma from this Earth experiences? Yes or no? Do you also carry a lot of trauma that comes from ET lifetimes? Yes or no? So let's just focus on the terrestrial trauma. So what happened to you in Earth incarnations? And so, of course, one of the man-made, trauma is wars. So do you still carry a lot of trauma from wars with you in your subconscious? Yes or no? And of course, we ask our spirit guides to clear as much as possible without us having to look at it now. And then, of course, there are nature-made, catastrophes, like fire, volcanoes, and earthquakes. Do you carry a lot of trauma from those occurrences? Yes or no? How about floods? Do you carry a lot of trauma from floods? Yes or no? Now, starvation. I mean, sometimes it was, individual karma, you were poor or got lost, but many times, there were droughts and whole populations starved. So you still carry a lot of trauma from starvations, yes or no? How about plagues and diseases, like flus, the Black Plague, and on and on and on? Maybe even malaria. You carry a lot of trauma from that still, yes or no? How about, big floods and tsunamis? A lot of trauma from that with you, yes or no? And, well, the real big one that we know about, or that most New Agers probably will agree upon, the big flood, of Atlantis about 12,000 years ago, ballpark. You still carry trauma from that? Yes or no? And some of you guys that are listening to this probably were personally involved in this as scientists, etc. Priest scientist. And so let's just ask your highest self, do you have a personal karma and responsibility, from this Atlantean event? Yes or no? You still carry guilt, for maybe, screwing things up, leading to, the big floods in Atlantis? Yes or no? Yeah, we like to have this cleared now as much as possible. Of course. And, many times, these aspects that died, whose bodies died, in these cataclysmic events, they got stuck, due to the trauma, that they did not go into the real light, into the heavens, they just got stuck. Do you still have aspects of yourself and loved ones that are stuck due to these cataclysmic traumas? Yes or no? More than 10? Yes or no? More than 50? Yes or no? Are also some of your loved ones stuck due to catastrophes on the astral plane? Yes or no? And we asked Source now and the Ascension teams to bring them into the proper love, healing, and Ascension temples. Have them reunited with lost loved ones, and give them the big life review, help them with forgiveness, and as they do so, clear all their baggage. Means vows, promises, trauma, karma, attachments, entity attachments, dark technologies, coding, portals, chains, whatever it is. And clear also any residue for descendants. Keep the wisdom, clear the pain. Amen, amen, amen. Keep on pumping love and pump it into the heavens. And as those aspects are leaving, you probably feel lighter, you feel energies leaving your body. There's an upflow of energy. Just smile and send love, at the exhale into the heavens. And of course, we ask the angels of love and light to help them get into the heavens, to clear any obstacles and sabotage. Now, in this cataclysms, was there any knowledge lost that, should be brought back? Yes or no? And if you were, one of these knowledge bringers, we like to have you given the proper downloads now. Again, just smile, and if you get a shift, there you get downloads. Also, was there any tech lost that should be brought back? In case you're an engineer, or it might even be spiritual technology, we like to have the downloads for that. If your high self agrees to that, amen, amen, amen. But we especially ask that any spells, curses, vows of revenge, portals and astral booby traps be cleared now. Amen, amen, amen. And, we like to also have, a clearing of our pain body from all the pain that is still stored, from all these above traumatic events, where the residue is still with us. So we asked our spirit guides, high self, to clear the pain body of those events. Now let's see, do you also carry a lot of trauma from ET incarnations, where we're not born on Earth, but stuff that happens in the solar system? Yes or no? So for instance, there was the devastation of Mars, where much of the water and atmosphere got stripped off when Maldek blew up. Were you part of this, yes or no? So in case you do not know, Maldek is typically described in channel text like the Law of One as a once inhabited planet that existed between Mars and Jupiter. And it was supposedly destroyed due to the misuse of advanced technologies. I mean, yeah, they had a bleeping war. Especially through war or energy weapons. Think something like Death Star, right, from Star Wars. And it remains, as said, to now be the asteroid belt as a physical accident. Now, the issue here concerning us is, the survivors, from this catastrophe, are believed to have reincarnated on Earth. And maybe even some on Mars, and from there to Earth, carrying unresolved karmic trauma and karmic pattern, so this might be you here. That's why I do this. And of course, these are all, probably around the lessons of misusing power, either on being the misuser or being the victim. Alright, so, do you carry a lot of trauma in yourself, in your subtle bodies from these issues, yes or no? Yeah, it's might be quite bad, and so, but be glad, at least you're finding out. It's like finding a rat under the carpet. It's better if you find it where it is and take care of it. So, first of all, we like to have those, that created, this whole incident to create illusion, to just create dark energies. We like to have those saboteurs, taken to the highest courts of divine justice, so they cannot, spread their influence anymore. Amen. 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 And then, clear also the dark portals that were created, through this. I mean, any cataclysm, wherever there is a lot of suffering, dark portals where darkness comes in are created. So I like to have those cleared. And whatever got through there into these realities, I like to have sent back to where it came from, whether it's energies or entities. If it's for the highest good, of course. Amen. And then, clear also, any, whatever programming, that came with this. Like trauma reversals, or detours into the reptilian brain. And, also liberate any soul fragments that are still stuck, and not just stuck but also kidnapped. In many lifetimes I've come across, when the people lost their body, They were snatched, and either stuck into another body. In one case it was a mermaid, because they can survive in the waters, which the entity did not like. But sometimes they're just being harvested, and end up in vets, more like the Matrix, again of an issue. So, do you have any soul fragments, that got stuck there, yes or no? And how does this affect you in your life? And let's just also ask, let's pop that question. It's better to face the truth. Were you involved, in causing any of those disasters? Of course, it's probably a different life form, not as a human, yes or no? And if you were, well, let's just face it, what is the worst that you did? And now, how many souls, are stuck and blaming you? And I would call those enemy souls or enemy ghosts, because they are vengeful. They can screw up your life big time. So how many about, are stuck and blaming you? And are there a lot of curses? They're going back and forth, at least from the ones blaming, and you might have been one stuck and cursing. There's two curses there. Yeah, so you like to have those curses cleared pretty please. We do forgiveness, and we, give it over to divine justice. Whatever wrong was done, give it over to divine justice, and renounce personal revenge. And that clears up the ethers. And if you got hijacked somehow in these cataclysmic events, whether it's war, floods, whatever, yeah, you like to have them liberated. And those hijackers, they get brought to the courts of divine justice. So let's just double check here. Ask your high self. Are there soul aspects that are still stuck in a container against their will and the will of the high self? Yes or no? Oh, yeah. So we asked divine justice, whether that's Archangel Michael or the ultraviolet dragons, of love and light, of course. They come and, liberate those aspects, reunite them with your soul. And of course, clear all the attachments and programs. Another sabotage from them. Oh, yeah. Oof. You probably feel the energy shifting. And just let's just support this with our intent. So we asked, our most capable spirit guides. This could be, of course, the angels of love and light and other beings. To spin everything in the life and light affirming direction. In our different systems. And also to clear any connections, and intrusions, from false light realities and shadow realms, especially whatever got in through those catastrophes. And clear, all the way to the highest soul aspect. Also, whatever is in ancestral bodies. It would be kind of like a miasm, so to say. Please clear that too. And of course, also, when there is big trauma and we are all open, there a lot of entity attachment happens there, where one entity piggybacks on another. So we like to have all those entities, that have attached to our trauma, to our wounds, to our curses or implants, etc. We like to have those cleared, or have them placed, in the highest courts of divine justice, for dark sabotage, or disempower them. Also, clear any binding devices, like vows, contracts, technologies, and AI influences and interferences that can be cleared now without us right now having to personally witness this. Amen. 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 Also clear now any karmic residue, pretty please. From these catastrophes, wherever we were involved, that are left over, that are stuck somewhere in the planetary and personal light bodies and systems. This would be ley lines, neural points, and, for humans, meridians, nadis, chakra systems, and other aspects like a DNA. And then please, collapse and release those dark timelines. Keep on breathing and running love. Now we also ask the spirit guides and the angels of love and light to open the portals through which we can receive our support, our updates, our strength and guidance. And also start liberating my soul fragments that are still stuck on the dark side. Let's face it, there are definitely aspects there and we like to have those liberated. And also, please, start going through all the contracts with the dark side. And find, the illegalities, and clear them too. And now, of course, also bring our energies that have scattered, somewhere else or have been taken, clear them, bring them back to us and integrate them and then ground them fully into our bodies. Amen. And so reconnect these aspects, with our soul and clear all the blocks or regulators, from the dark side that are resistant to this connection. And and we are to be updated to the highest and best divine blueprints. Amen. And then we ask Source and our spirit guides to, protect these now so that our energy cannot be stolen or manipulated or blocked by the self beings. Amen. 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 And if you want to go back into vacant day consciousness, you can do so now, otherwise keep on snoozing. And 1, 2, 3, you're fully awake, full of energy, back in vacant day consciousness again. All right. Some of the stuff might sound a little woo-woo. Maybe you may be confused. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. But, I hope that this stuff clears, that you feel lighter now. That's the proof in the pudding. That you feel lighter and happier after the meditation. And, if you want to go deeper, you probably need a private session. They're available. You can contact me through sending me an email. Prices are very reasonable and my sessions are quite potent, people say. I have about nearly 400 videos, on different topics, a wide range of topics that probably, everybody that's serious should cover. See if you have stuff there. And so they're free, their little blurb at the end. See if you resonate. If you haven't given me a thumbs up and you like my stuff, please give me a thumbs up. And if you had any far out experiences or questions, please go write in the comments. I love you long time. Namaste.